We are nearing the end of the series of videos on lesson planning. I want to spend a moment to discuss the importance of consolidation at the end of your lesson. It is so important that you keep in mind during lesson planning and lesson execution that you must consolidate. This means that you need to stop the learners, even if they are not finished with an activity, and say, guys, let's just quickly recap. What did we learn today? So you come back to your lesson outcomes, you revise what you have learned, you test that they understood. Otherwise, when the bell rings and they leave in the middle of an activity, all that they are going to remember about your lesson is the last activity that they were busy with. If you are being assessed by a mentor or a lecturer, do not worry if your learners have not met all the outcomes or if they are not finished with all the activities. A good teacher can adjust. So a good teacher will stop and say, guys, I know we're not finished quite yet, but we will finish this activity tomorrow. I would just like us to quickly think about what we have done in this period. This shows your lecturer or your mentor teacher that you are aware of the phases of a lesson, because if you think back to our conversation, you need to have an introductory phase, you need to have a body, and you need to have a consolidation. And if you go back in your mind to the discussion that we had about a learner's mind being like a file explorer, you now get to close the file. They have now opened the English literature file. They've stored everything in there that you are teaching them, and you are now making sure that it is stored in the correct file, and you are closing the box. Consolidation is extremely important for a lesson to end well. Also important as a teacher that you reflect after your lesson. Just have a quick look and ask yourself, what in this lesson worked well? What in this lesson should I do differently the next time? It is a wonderful experience to realize that you can present the same lesson on paper to two classes and have two totally different experiences. It rarely happens that the same thing happens in two classes directly after each other. So, planning lessons is a learning curve. Please take the time to ask yourself what worked well, what must I do differently next time? And in that way, you are going to get better and better at lesson planning.